Hello everyone, so today what we'll be trying to reproduce is this sketch which I found on Reddit on r/generative. Hopefully you can follow along. So let me just share the source. So this is from Epiculoid, Especuloid. I don't know, sorry for your name. I'll be linking down in the description down below. Hopefully you can go and check out his version of what we'll be doing today. So let me go on the whiteboard and give you an explanation of what I think I'll be using to reproduce what he's doing on his canvas. There we go. Let me also light up the room a little bit more. Well, didn't change much. Anyway, so basically on his sketch, right, we'll be only starting this whole thing by doing only one sine wave pattern, right? He has multiple of them going across the canvas, but we'll be starting with only one. And we'll be starting from his most left one, right? The one that is doing it like a bubble shape, kind of. So basically, he has a sine wave starting like this, right? Something like this, right? So this is a sine wave, and he has a different sine wave, and that is over there. Well, it's not the best representation that I would have for the first one on the left, but this is the kind of what he has, right? So what we need is I was thinking of basically doing just for one of them, right? Hopefully you can see this. It is visible. Not the best visibility, but it should be fine. So what we want is just to create a sine wave. I know this seems repetitive on what we did on previous videos, but currently I'm on that topic, so we are doing a couple of sketches on that. Later on we'll be doing other sketches, so hopefully you can follow along or go to the next video and take a look at some different sketch. So we have the height of the canvas, right? I'll call this h. What I was thinking is it's basically points that he has, right, for the sine wave line. So we could just do a for loop that we call x, and x is equal to 0, and then x, as long as x is smaller than the height, we add 2x some amount, and we can have a variable for spacing. Maybe set that equal to, I don't know, 30. Hopefully you can see that. Yes, I think you can. So we can add 2x every time in the loop, some spacing, right? There we go. So using that, we can have the sine value, right? So I'll call this v or value, it doesn't really matter. And that value would be the result of the sine function, passing it not x, but passing it a map of x, which goes between 0 and height to between, I don't know, maybe here, possibly those two values, right? I want them as variables. So maybe something like start and end. They won't be 0. I'll just put an S and an E, just so that we have, so E for end and S for start, right? And this would be what dictates basically the pattern that we have. So, and when we're at in time, because this start and end should move, should change as time goes on, right? So that's the goal. And this v value, we can use it for the, oh, and this is not x, sorry, this is y. Well, hopefully you get it. Okay, and then what we can do is have x be equal to v times, I don't know, let's say 50, right? So this would be our x and this would be our y, and then we can just do a point, at x, y, right? So let's start with this, and then we can add a, for the other wave that goes basically on the inverse of it. I think I could do the point at the same time, because what I'm thinking is just multiplying v by, for this would be x1, and maybe x2 is equal to parentheses v times minus 1, v times minus 1 times 50, right? So, and then draw a different point at that position, right? So this should be pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Let's start with this and see where we get with that. All right, great. So let me open a new tab. Let me open this on here. Okay, awesome, perfect, great. So let me go in here. Let me set, I personally want the background to be black, so let me just do background to be black. There we go, awesome. And we'll do white points, sure. So we'll do stroke 255, maybe a stroke weight of, I don't know, maybe like 10 for right now. It may be too little or too much, we'll see. So now let's do a loop. Let's do first the variable for the spacing. Spacing maybe equal, we said 30, let's try that. Maybe it's too little, we'll see. And we need a variable for the start and end, right? So let start, and right now we're doing everything in the setup. Eventually we can move everything to the draw function. So let start be equal to, let's say 0, and end be equal to start plus some amount, right? Let's, why not use, well, we could try doing like, I don't know, 5 or something. It'll be 2.5 wave, right? Something like that. So for let y is equal to 0, y is less than the height of the canvas. Y, well, let me close this as well. Y plus, no, y plus equals spacing. Okay, great. Now let's get the value from the result of sin. So sin passing here map of y, which goes between 0 and height, to start and end, right? And then let's get const x1, because I'll be doing the second point as well. X1 would be equal v times, and then we can do some like, maybe not spacing, const radius, sure, equals 50. And we'll displace everything by half the width, right? So this, and then const x2 equals v, well, v times minus 1 times radius. Okay, let's, let me do, sure. Let's do plus equal, oh well, plus width divided by 2 plus width divided by 2, just so that it's in the middle. Or we could just translate to the middle of the canvas. That seems fine to me. For right now, eventually we might not want to do that, but for the moment it's fine. Translate to width divided by 2. That's it. The y, I don't want to translate it. There you go. And then let's draw points. Point at x1 comma y, and point at x2 comma y. Awesome, there we go. So we pretty much have this. So now let's change the radius to maybe 100 or maybe like 200 even. Sure, that looks good. Maybe have this be like 10. Maybe 10 is a bit much. Maybe like 8. 8 is fine. Let me put this back to 100. Okay, I like this. So now let's make it move, right? Let's make it, yeah, let's make it move. So we'll take all of this, right, and put it in the draw function. So we'll need to create the draw function, copy all of this in here. We'll need to also copy the background. I'll copy the stroke and stroke weight. I don't think it's too bad to copy it. It's fine. And we'll also use this here, over here, and set this as let variable, so spacing, radius. Let me do this. Oh, well, let's put it in config. Spacing equals 30, radius equals 100, I think I said, yeah. There you go. Let me remove these two variables. Awesome. Great. Now over here, let's do config dot, and over here, config dot. There you go. Okay, great. So we're where we were at previously. So what I want is maybe let current or increment, or I don't know, offset maybe is a better word. Offset be equal to 0 to start with. And what we'll do is we'll basically set start to offset, and then we'll do offset plus equals some small amount, maybe like 0.5. Oh, well, a bit too large. There you go. So maybe even 0.05. There you go. So we pretty much, we're almost done, I think. So one thing that he was doing is drawing a line. Well, it might not have been a line, it might just be like points. But can I pause this? No, it doesn't seem like we can. Anyway, doesn't matter. That's fine. There's line between the points, right? So what we can do is just do a line which goes between this point and the other point, x2 comma y. There we go. So that's a cool effect. I like it. It's not exactly what we wanted, where we wanted smaller lines, but this looks pretty cool. I'll have to say. Sure, let's change it up. Let's keep it like this for right now, and we'll see what we like most at the end. So now let's try to make this work, right? How is it working actually? I think we could achieve the same result by doing something like this. Maybe not. 0.1. No, okay, right, I know why. Okay. So what I'm thinking is that he's changing. So maybe, here he has an array like let or const x's equals an array, and then that array just adds index. We can use index y, it's fine. Equals an array with x1 in it, right? And then for the second one, how would we go about this, right? Well, let me draw points still, and we can do the line afterwards. Just because I think it'll be easier to think of it just as points for the moment and do the lines later on. So point, okay, there we go. So we're back where we were. So let me see, let me comment out. Well, one thing we can note is that we could also get V1 and V2, right? Instead of just getting V, and we would get that by just inverting N and start. Maybe not, right? Possibly not. But here, let's try V2. And here it would be V1. Oh, this is a different result. That's interesting though. It's kind of rotating in 3D space. That's pretty interesting. But that's not what we want, unfortunately. So, let me see. So we basically have an offset. So this was right, I think, like this. But and we can still do V1 and V2. The only thing is that V2 here we have V2, should be the same. Okay, we could possibly change keep the start. Should we keep the start? No, well, we could actually keep the start. It doesn't matter. Let me see. So what I'm thinking here is, let's say I were to add 10 to this one, right? So now we're getting some different results. So maybe I want to add a y to it, right? And maybe y divided by height. Divide by 2. Okay. So divided by y. Oh, no, yeah, my bad. This is fine, right? So here, what I'm thinking is we take this loop, well, we do another loop around it for let I is equal to 0, I is less than, let's say, 3, or we could have count, right? Some count over here. Count equal 4, yeah, sure. So here, we could just do, it's less than the count, I, let me mute this as well, I plus plus, okay. And then wrap everything around it. Right now, we're not going to see pretty much any differences, I think. Why is it not working? Oh, okay, config.count, there we go. So here, there's no differences, but that's expected. I mean, they're all drawing their points on top of each other, so it's not really like useful to see. What we can do is just copy this over here, put this here, and we want to translate by width divided by config.count, right? I think. Yeah, and we can translate first one by minus this divided by 2, right? Minus this divided by 2. There we go. And now we could just do like 5 if we wanted, and so on, right? But we'll keep it at 4 for right now. And now I think I could just use I to add to n. There you go. I think we're pretty much where we was for the design, right? So I think this looks good. Let me try to add back the line now. So this is really interesting. It's a bit trippy for sure, but it looks pretty cool. So there we go. That's pretty much the sketch for today. Hopefully you can play with it, have fun, try to do something different, play with colors, right? Maybe the lines you want some kind of color, right? I could try it right now, right? So colors, random palette, awesome. And let me show you what I meant. So over here, right, we could do stroke be equal to colors index this. Let's do an index value instead. Modulus config dot this dot length and dot color. Let me go here. This will be config config dot colors. Okay, good. And then index, we could just have index plus plus here, and have let index here. There you go. So now you can see if I refresh, every time I refresh, it'll be a different color. So that's pretty cool, pretty interesting. There's so much thing you could do with this, but hopefully you find something you liked in this sketch, and try to do something really creative with it. Expand it to much bigger interval where you come back to this original one. So you go all the way through the phases that you would have, or you go with like you make it go really fast or really slow for some reason. You need that, right? So this is really going slowly, as you can see here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully, like I said, just play with it, try something new. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments down below what would be cool to see next. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.